This is Big Mike. What do you think you're doing?
Welcome back to the channel, guys. We're down south for the weekend, prepping for deer season. A little later than what we normally would do. It's about middle of September right now, but we've already checked a few stands, trimmed some shooting lanes, and now we've got this stand here we're gonna check. So, Mark's weed eating a little spot up to it, but as you can see, it's set up on the edge of a draw and a big expansive native grass planting. So there's a pretty good bedding area over here, and the deer will run this edge and then keep going, and they go across the road out into the crop fields to feed in the evening. So it's a pretty decent spot. You don't see a ton of deer here, but there's a good chance that you'll see good deer here. We'll get the stand all checked out, make a couple mock scrapes, see what happens. Alright, we're in the stand. Sorry for the wind noise. It's pretty breezy today. I'll try and cover the microphone. You guys can see. It's all native grasses, some terraces, and then the bedding areas over here. Stand looks good. Mark's down here making a mock scrape, and the deer like to travel this edge when they're heading out to feed, so it's a good spot. You just got to be here when they come by. And I sat here I think once or twice last year and had a couple decent encounters, just 3-year-olds, but we'll see. But I'm gonna hop down, and guys, always, if you're working in the tree, climbing trees, tree stands, hanging them, fixing them, trimming lanes, wear your safety harnesses. There's no excuse not to. Every tree stand comes with a harness, so please, 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 you owe it to yourself, your family, all your friends, wear your harness. So I'm gonna shimmy down and we're gonna head to the next spot. All right, we're at the next spot. This is the stand that Mark killed his out of last year. It's set up in a little island of brush and cottonwood trees. And then there's a big draw that runs east and west. It goes all the way out to the road there, and then we've got a big draw here that runs north and south, and that goes for several miles. So the deer travel through here quite a bit. And then there's a big bedding area on the back side of that. So it's a really good spot, good travel corridor. We've always had pictures of really good bucks in this area. So we're gonna make a few mock scrapes. Looks like the stand, the ladder stand here, so it should be in good shape. Mark's checking that out. We should be good to go.
Big deer.
Here's the licking branch. So you guys can see, I'll try and get it in. But the biggest problem I see people having is they put their licking branches too high. So you want it kind of between your belly button and your shoulder. And this one's even a little bit high, so I might try and find something else, strap on there, lower it down a little bit. I like to make a few scrapes, build up a little mock scrape line by all of our tree stands, and it actually works really well. A lot of the deer we kill, we catch coming from another stand on a scrape line to the stand that we actually kill them on. Mock scrapes are deadly. Pre-rut, through the rut and then post rut. And they also bring in a lot of does. You get some does to come in close, checking out those scrapes. So Mike's just finishing up a few scrapes along this island, and Mark's up there fixing that stand. So I'm gonna go ahead, fix that licking branch, and then we're gonna put a little attractant on those scrapes. All right, this is the exact same scrape I just showed you guys. But you can see I went and trimmed a branch and then just came in and tied that branch on there with some paracord. Freshen it up for the year. The deer will come through, nip all the leaves. And they'll be chewing on the branches and raking their rack in there, so it'll get all busted up. But should be a good spot. And it's only 5 yards from the stand, so as they're coming to and from it, you should have a good shot opportunity. And then we made another scrape there, and then another scrape down at the end of this island of trees. So let's go ahead and doctor them up. And that one's done. Ready for some big buck action. Here's the next one. And the last one's down there. I'm gonna go hit that quick, but I think we're pretty much done here. And I'll catch up with you guys at the next spot. Next spot. So this spot's just on a peninsula of trees. Protrudes out of this draw that runs north and south. And then there's a big bedding area just over the hill right there. It's actually where I shot 10 point over a decoy. Oh, probably 5-6 years ago. But it's a good spot. Looks like we're gonna have to do some trimming. I can barely see the tree stand up there. So, got a scrape here. It's always active every year. So we'll get that opened up, get a camera set up, and should be golden. But then there's some fence lines over here, and then a little draw that continues out to the west right there. So it's a good travel corridor, close to bedding. Alright, this is the second set we've done, but we probably have 30-ish tree stands down south on these farms that we can hunt. And they've been up for probably 8-9 years, maybe 10. So we're just pulling them all down. We did a few last year. We're going to probably do a few this year and leave the ones that look decent. But we're replacing all the cables and the actual strap around the tree with chain, just to improve some longevity, so we don't have to do this again in about 3 years. But we also leave the stands all up year round, just because there's so many of them. To pull them all down and hang them every year just be a pain. So we're gonna go through, replace all the cables, replace all the straps with chain. And it's really not super expensive. You get this 100 foot of chain at Menards. I think it was like $15 or $20, and then we're replacing all the hardware with grade 8, so it should last a long time. And we'll go through each spring or each summer and just move the stands around so the chain doesn't get too tight in the tree where we would never be able to get the stand down. But so far they've been working good. We had, I think, 5 or 6 we did last year, and they were all rock solid. So we're gonna get this double set fixed up and then move on to the next spot. Okay, next spot. This one's kind of in a corner, inside corner. There's a nice thick fence line that comes down from here, and then we've got a real big, deep woolly draw that runs east and west. Then the fence line runs up to the north, back to that last spot we were just at. And Mark's up there working on the tree stand right now. I just got a scrape put in right here over this little licking branch. And then we did 3 more scrapes over here, 2 right by the stand, and then 1 just behind the truck. So this is a really good spot. We've never killed a deer here, but we always get a ton of pictures of really good bucks, and they seem to move in daylight through here. So it's just a matter of time before somebody actually gets a crack at one from this stand. Here's the other 2 scrapes right by the stand, and then the third one's right up there. And then the opposite side is of this fence line is a crop field, but it didn't get planted this year. So it's just real woolly, tall weeds. Should be good bedding. And then out in front of us here is all CRP. So. And then we've got a crop field on the opposite side of this timber. It's an awesome spot. Great travel corridor. It was highs in the 60s last week, but for some reason, tree stand work, it's always got to be 80 plus, usually 95. But we just wrapped up that stand. We swapped one of them out with chains, got rid of the cables and straps. So we're gonna head down to the next farm. They got 3 sets on that. It's a 80. 3 sets on that 80. So try and get those done today, and then we'll do the rest tomorrow. So stay tuned. We'll see you at the next set. Okay, made it to the last spot. Mark's up in the tree again. He's right up there. I didn't show you guys the last couple spots because I was climbing. This spot is on a big long draw that runs east and west. And on the west end of it, there's a big block of timber with a lot of bedding area. But you can see the stands on the south side of this draw. And then the big timbers over here. So all these deer will work out of this timber, filter down this draw, and go out across the road at night out into the ag fields on the other side of the road. And then there's also a soybean field here at the top of the hill, but it's basically CRP on both sides of this draw, so it gets tons of deer movement. We've killed several deer out of this draw moving through during the rut. It's an awesome spot. So Mike's working the weed eater, throwing in some mock scrapes. And it's gonna be a good season, I think. We haven't had a ton of good trail cam picks, but we also haven't found the EHD like some parts of southern Iowa have. So, but I think that's pretty much gonna do it for today. Once we get done here, I'll show you some of the scrapes we make, and then I'll show you a little bit of the tree stand setup and what the draw looks like. So otherwise, we're gonna wrap everything up tomorrow. I'll probably make a separate video of that because we're gonna hang a couple new sets, or at least 1 new set tomorrow. Possibly move one. So we'll see. But thanks for stopping by, guys. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Hunting season's just around the corner. I'm gonna try and capture as much as I can from Mark, myself, obviously, and Mike. So we should have some pretty good hunting content coming October, November, December. So thanks again, and we'll catch you on the next one.